Alrighty, hey y'all, this is Gammy again, doing a little bit of ground reporting. As you know, in my previous video, I mentioned about the Grand Prix of Washington, D.C. So finally, we got a track layout. The only thing is that there is definitely no construction going on here, but we will see what we can make out of what the track layout will be like. So right here is the supposed start-finish straight at 3rd Street. Let's take a look around the course.
Right here is the front stretch of the circuit between turn 7 and turn 1. It is fairly wide, and it is possible for Indy cars to actually start the race on that stretch. But I'm leaning more on the straight where pit road will be. And speaking of the pit straight, here we are on turn number 1, heading into pit road.
So this part that's going eastbound, that's going to be the pit road. The part that's going westbound over there, that is going to be where the Indy cars will be racing. So as we walk on supposed pit road, it's going to be somewhat like Baltimore, where pit road is split from the start finish. This is very much going to be the longest straight of the race course, heading into the National Archives, which will be right there, which we'll be heading down shortly. Now right here, I assume that this is probably going to be the paddock where the Indy cars will exit, because it's in the middle of pit road, so it kind of makes a logistical sense that all the Indy car work will be done on this road. Meanwhile, can pop out of pit road and then onto the main straightaway. Now in terms of trying to get, let's say, seats and views, that is definitely going to be a big question because the buildings are pretty close. Maybe you can put some seats on here, but I doubt it because of how everything is close to each other. And the street length, the width for the Indy cars is actually not going to be that bad. Probably like maybe a 3 abreast type of situation if things get a little bit hairy. So right there, we're approaching the next turn. Right there is the Navy Memorial. Also, that's where the metro station is at, and I think that's probably going to be the closest one to the racetrack. Chances are they might close it. Depends on, like, say, how Walmart is going to plan it. And I assume that this is going to be all racetrack, so that means a lot of dive bomb moves up for this corner, because that's the only corner that can pass. So now we do make the turn, and it looks like they're not going to get rid of this unless they are willing to, but that's going to be a very tight corner and a very tight squeeze because it's just narrowing it down to 3. And then right there is the National Archives.
This is turn 3, a 90-degree left-hander that's still circling around the National Archives and into Constitution Avenue. This part of the track will widen up a bit to give more passing opportunities to turn 4.
So right there is the National Archives. Funny enough, this place does have history on how to handle grandstands. And as you can see, that's pretty much what the race is going to be like. But
this entrance of the National Archives is typically your televised main stage for the Cherry Blossom Parade.
They kind of have a bit of a history, like say trying to host events like on the road.
And from Constitution Avenue, we head down to turn 4, straight down to 7th Street. This is definitely not going to be a good passing zone at all, but 7th Street is long enough to get a possible pass straight down turn 5, Independence Avenue. But regardless, it is a very good viewing area for Indy cars to pass down the Washington Monument and the Capitol. And now we make our way all the way down to turn number 5 to Independence Avenue. It is definitely wide enough for Indy cars to go side by side, so you may get a good multi-car battle from this stretch.
So right there is the Eisenhower Memorial. You see a lot of traffic that's going to end up being removed for that weekend. We're pretty much close to the next turn.
And as we continue to head down Independence Avenue, you will start to notice that the next turn will narrow up very significantly. This is what I and very much likely many people will call the We Have the Baku City Circuit Castle Corner at home. Cause look at it. And if you don't know, you're now gonna know. Baku is very much infamous for a turn that goes by a castle but it narrows up into just one car only due to how narrow it really is. They could in theory remove this pedestrian island, but I highly doubt it. But from turn 6, it's a very short straight into turn 7. And I have a feeling that it is absolutely possible to not even brake on this corner. Best case scenario, with the right temperature and car setup, you could literally keep the accelerator on this corner due to how it widens up again to the start-finish straight.
And that very much does it with the course. Very short, almost close to Lime Rock, but a little bit longer. I guess I'm just going to limit myself to one form of social commentary. It would be funny to see someone from a certain nation win, and then Donald Trump giving it to that winner. Yeah. And for the record, I have been a fan of him probably since back in 2017 when he first appeared at the Indy Sports Car Podcast, back when he was in Team Pelfrey for Indy Lights, now Indy Next. So I've been a lifer, not a bandwagoner. With transit, it is going to be quite tricky because a lot of bus routes are going to be either rerouted, or they're probably just going to do a half service type of situation. I will list all the bus routes that will definitely be affected. And then as far as the metro has been concerned, you do have the Archives Navy Memorial Station, which is probably in limbo. I am leaning more on the fact that they're going to shut that station down for the weekend just because of a logistical nightmare between spectator traffic and just people getting out of there. So I don't think that's going to happen, but with other nearby stations, you do have Metro Center, Gallery Place, Chinatown, Capitol South, LaFont. Also, Judiciary Square and Union Station are fairly close. In also the extreme, you do have Federal Triangle and Smithsonian, but that is quite a long walks away. But it is still a bit of speculation, so we'll definitely see how WMATA will handle that weekend. I'll definitely keep you posted, so expect more racing content, especially as the event starts to unfold and we get more details in. But for now, this is kind of a good just preview of what it would look like, and hopefully we'll get to see more of it. So, till we meet again, thanks for watching.